What's going on, guys? It's your boy Sonic back at it again with another video, and let me start by saying I love The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's one of those games I can always pick up and play no matter the mood or however I'm feeling. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, and for sure, a comfort game for me. As I anxiously await the sequel that, for whatever reason, I was hoping to see more of at the Game Awards, I was fortunate enough to have my eyes blessed with what we know to be Sonic Frontiers. While I quite honestly feel extremely optimistic about this game, I couldn't help but notice that this was something very foreign to the Sonic the Hedgehog series. When was the last time you saw an open world Sonic game? That's right, you haven't. This game is a completely different look and feel from the rest of the series, and quite honestly, like it or not, this will be a completely new start to the franchise, or at least the gaming side of the franchise. Getting a story written by Ian Flynn, an entirely new gameplay style which was regarded by the way as the action-adventure genre, and of course much more we still have yet to see. But from what we've already seen, this can quickly be noted as one of the best, if not the best, looking Sonic game, easily going toe-to-toe with the phenomenal looking game Sonic Unleashed. This is definitely a good thing, and I think we are all at least in cohesive agreement that visually this game looks stunning. But with that in mind though, I've quickly seen this game gather comparisons to the game I mentioned earlier, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which inherently isn't all a bad thing. For people like me who are quite fond of this entry in the Zelda series, who just so happen to be Sonic fans, this sounds like a great thing. In my own personal opinion, this Zelda entry was great, and to see a Sonic game seemingly model after it is all the more satisfying. But as I began to think more about it, I'm beginning to realize that this is clearly just a cycle that nearly all up-and-coming open-world video games are fated to deal with. Games like Pokemon Arceus, Genshin Impact, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Sonic Frontiers, and I've even heard Halo Infinite get thrown in the mix for being comparable to Breath of the Wild. But you don't want to know what the funny thing about this is? Absolutely none of these games play like each other. Sure, you can draw similarities, but they aren't exactly one-to-one, or even close to that standard. I'm really starting to believe that I think a lot of times we happen to see a character exploring a grassy field, and we call it Breath of the Wild. I mean, I can just go outside right now and touch some grass, and you might as well throw me in that game too. I really don't mean to sound like I'm ranting because I don't want to. I don't mean to rant. As I said earlier, I love the Zelda series, and Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite installments of that franchise. I truly found it to be a great game. Not to mention, I really do feel optimistic about the game Sonic Frontiers. I'm just a pretty optimistic person. That said, I really do believe these comparisons between Breath of the Wild and Sonic Frontiers should be used very loosely. Obviously, I recognize this is purely a visual thing. One could so easily look at this one Sonic shot and think of the cover of Breath of the Wild, which is perfectly fine. Honestly, I'm one of the people who did that exact same thing. The comparison there is very similar. Both characters are standing on a stone platform looking at the land they are tasked to explore. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is foreshadowing what the box of the game could possibly look like. Though I wouldn't be a huge fan considering I don't believe that based on what we already know about this game, it wouldn't capture the exact aesthetic. Nonetheless, the point still stands. There are obvious parallels that can be drawn between the two. But then again, having a character standing on a high platform looking at the land has become a trend that one could say Breath of the Wild has pioneered. So in saying this, it isn't like Sonic the Hedgehog is actually copying Breath of the Wild. I would say that it's more so following a trend in which Breath of the Wild may have started. I use the word may here very loosely because I really don't know when this began or who started it. All I know is that after Zelda did it, many others followed. Let's look at a few examples, beginning with Pokemon Arceus. As you can see here between this game and Zelda's cover, it's a very similar perspective. Although the camera is a tad higher in the Pokemon box, you get a similar feeling of overall adventure and exploration from both. The box art for Halo Infinite does the very same thing, although it shows a closer look at Master Chief and less of the background, indicating that the character here is the primary focus. Whereas this art of Genshin Impact actually does precisely the opposite, choosing to focus primarily on the background rather than the character you play as they veer more off to the left. So chances are you're probably wondering, why am I saying this? Wondering exactly how these even relate to Sonic Frontiers and the Breath of the Wild comparisons. To which I will say, be patient, I'm getting there. These games all choose to convey the same point, exploration. All of the games I talked about here are open world to some extent, so of course the biggest draw to an open world game is exploring a massive environment as a character who is fun to play as. All of these games are showing you precisely what you want to see. They are showing you the vast lands you can explore as the character indicated on the box, or the art. Sonic Frontiers is doing precisely that. I feel as though that was the entire intention of choosing that particular shot to be focused on in the trailer. They wanted to show us Sonic's size in comparison to the environment you have to explore at your leisure. While Breath of the Wild may have pioneered this trope in the gaming industry, I highly doubt they were the first ones to actually do this. That being said, however, the moment the aforementioned Zelda game did this, the audience was invoked with a feeling of excitement. Being able to go to locations so far out of your current sight was jaw-dropping. Chances are these other games just wanted to recapture that same awe-inspiring feeling. Sonic, of course, is no exception. But you know what, let's explore the possibility that Sega did completely copy Nintendo's homework on this one. Let's say Sonic Frontiers' environment was meant to be a carbon copy of what Zelda showed us back in 2017. Let me be the first one to say that this is still going to be an extremely different experience than what Zelda had to offer. I shouldn't have to remind you because I'm sure you're all very smart individuals, but Sonic and Link are two completely different characters who have two completely different gameplay styles. These gameplay styles are so different in fact that even if Frontiers is meant to be an action-adventure game like Breath of the Wild, which it is, they will still be two completely different games. The combat system, the enemies, even the way you get from point A to point B will be much too different to compare. Allow me to end just by saying this. I have absolutely zero problems with the comparisons between these two games, or any other open world game that may be thrown into the equation. I even said earlier that I too can see these parallels, but I do feel as though that we could be stepping into dangerous territory if all we think about is how similar these two games are. Not allowing these two games to be set apart could deteriorate the expectations of others who may have never played a Sonic game before but loved Breath of the Wild. Sonic Frontiers and Breath of the Wild could definitely be compared, but to an extent. What's going on, guys? Thank you all so much for sticking around to the end of the video. But now I want to hear from you. Should Breath of the Wild and Sonic Frontiers be compared? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love these two games a lot, and of course I can see some of the pretty clear parallels, but I really want to hear what you guys have to say. That said, I want to move on to thank my amazing channel members. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and my content. You guys are truly awesome. Constantly motivating me to make the best possible content that I can make. I praise the Lord for amazing people like y'all every single day. If you're interested in becoming a member of my channel, there will be more information in the link in the description down below. But if you want to support me through other means, leaving a like, comment, and subscribing definitely goes a super long way. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. This is Sonic signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?